Yeah, can I just get a wazon? One wazon. And for you? I think I'm just going to get a wazon too, please. Just the two wazons. Wazon. Pretty good wazon. This is definitely one of the better wazons that I've had.
Oh, hey guys, what do you got there?
Oh, just some wazons.
Wazons? Nice.
Wazon. 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 Wazon.
Swag. Okay, look. Hold on. I'll put it on pause. The risk in all these things, I don't want to play more than swag.on.the.beat on Instagram. You sit there every now and again and you see something and you say, how did anyone think of this? How did anyone, after they thought of it, think it was going to work? How did they make it work? And how is it the funniest thing that I saw all evening yesterday? This is going to be my go-to for a little while. You know, for a while it was Kiffness. Please don't eat my dog. That was on my list of when you need a pick-me-up smile, you go to that. This is going to be it. I'll tell you my favorite part of the entire thing. The look of insecurity in their eyes. It's good damn acting. Look at how insecure they look for that moment where the arrogant Frenchman comes up to them and stares them down. There, right there. There. And now the real question, and then the zooming in and the shaking. It's a work of art. Encryptus, have we confirmed that this is, what do we say that this is called? It was called, oh, there it is right there. My goodness, my eyes are bad. Swag.on.the.beat. Go check it out. I mean, I don't know if the original poster linked to the original video, and sometimes it's hard to find the original video when you find something glorious like this on Twitter, and then you want to share it, but you don't know where to share it from. Good afternoon, everybody. This is day 2 of the Rumble Raid, not experiment, of the Rumble Raid new reality of live streaming on the interwebs, the network that is developing, that has now been launched on Rumble, #RumbleOn. I'm taking the baton from the Quartering, who is graciously raiding this chat, this stream, and how it works for those of you who don't fully understand what the raid is. You put the audience, you direct the audience from your ending stream. If they're not coming over for your exclusive content, you could still be watching the Quartering's exclusive content if you're a Rumble Premium subscriber. One of our sponsors for today's show. You could still be watching the Quartering stuff, and then when you're done with the Premium, then you get directed into the next following stream, which is mine. It starts this morning. Forget who starts it, but it comes from the Crowder, the big man, the Crowder, who is out there busting his butt and creating and promoting this baton relay race of information. And why wouldn't it go 24 hours? Forget network news. You go to Rumble and you see who are the, not content creators, because that's such a demeaning term, such a demeaning way of talking about what it is that we do. The truth tellers, the truth seekers, and the legal political analysts that are the people to watch and listen to and learn from and have a beautiful community where we can all teach each other, because I oftentimes petition the community for answers when I don't have them. So with that said, people, we're going to have one hell of a show today because I'm shaking my camera by hitting my table, because we're going to talk about corruption. Judge Boasberg, the attempt to undermine or usurp the executive branch, the executive powers of the commander-in-chief of these United States of America, Donald John Trump. We're going to get there. We're also going to talk about what's going on in Canada, because you know, let's get politically incorrect early on. We're not on YouTube, so fuck it. Excuse me. I do publish these direct. I'm going to publish them entirely to YouTube, and we'll see what format works better, if I publish the entire stream later in the afternoon next day, or clips on YouTube. And we'll see what happens if YouTube actually, copy claims that entire stream because of the parody use of that song. I don't even know what song that is. One of the reasons why I am vehemently opposed to 99% of all shut it downs, unless there's calls to violence, direct threats, etc., overt stalking and harassing, is because the second you tell someone, what they can and cannot talk about, or more specifically, what they cannot talk about, the more I reflexively am inclined to think there must be some truth to it. Like, nobody prevents you from talking about stupid stuff that's easily demonstrably false. And so when people have, discussions and they're shut down for whatever the reason, I say, don't shut it down. Let them talk. Somebody wants to come and say, I don't think the Holocaust happened. Let them talk. Let them come out with their best arguments as to the mathematical formulas as to why the numbers can't possibly be. Let them come out and talk. Because if you shut them down, all that you end up doing is, at the very least, even if they don't believe their own words, they get to then say, look, they had to shut me up and shut me down because of how much truth I'm telling. And even if they don't believe their own words, other people out there are going to say, why are they shutting them up and shutting them down? So we're going to talk about what's going on in Canada, what's going on in Canada, where it has now been reported, I think it was, I don't want to misattribute credit to whoever broke the story. Encryptus, might you be able to confirm who broke the story of Mark Carney, globalist, 3-passport carrying WEF Davos Bilderberg whore? It has now been disclosed that one of his children, who's now a full-grown 24-year-old woman, is arguably what we would call a trans activist. Now, none of this is particularly controversial. Everybody should live their best life, and I say that with no glibness, tongue-in-cheek, or facetiousness. I don't care what anybody does to the extent it doesn't negatively impact other people for no good reason. Live your best life. It turns out that his daughter is a trans activist. There's an essay that she wrote when she was 20 that has been uncovered. We're going to go over it. And it's been revealed that Mark Carney's daughter, in 2013, after Carney moved to England to be the governor of the Bank of England, was sent to, got therapy, treatment, we don't know exactly what, at the Tavistock Institute. You may know the Tavistock Institute. We're going to get into all of this in great detail. Why it's so shocking and appalling is because we're being told it's off limits. It's a politician's child. It's their kid. You can't talk about politicians' kids. First of all, I made an astute observation. There's a difference between someone's kid and a kid. My father told me this. He says, you will always be my child. I said, calling me a child is a very demeaning thing. Like, I'm not a child. I'm a 45-year-old man. I'm an adult, Dad. He says, you will always be my child, son. Doesn't mean I am a child. I might be a child, but it doesn't mean that I'm a child. So someone being someone's kid doesn't mean they are a kid. A 24-year-old activist, political activist for the trans movement, if you read that essay, it's glorious, is not off limits for discussion. And I say that, even if it were, even if the child were a minor, what we're talking about here is not the kid. It's the judgment of the father who is now the anointed, unelected Prime Minister of Canada. So you tell me it's off limits, and I'm going to do a little more digging. And the more digging I do, the more questions I get. So that's that. We're going to get into all of them. Let me make sure that we are. If I hear you.
Yes, you asked for the original source. It looks like Daily Mail. I dropped a link in the private chat for you. They broke the story on the 10th.
Oh, really? Okay, because I thought it was on Twitter and I thought it was True North. Either way, I never mean to not give credit, and I never mean to usurp the hard work of others. So in as much as humanly possible, I always try to give the credit where credit is due for the work that people have done. Thank you, Encryptus. And we'll get there in a second. We are good across all of the various planes of the interwebs. Over in our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community, Cousin Eddie. He is neither my cousin, but I think he's Eddie. Viva, just a chat to appreciate your new time frame and Rumble exclusive content. The recent aviation stuff is nothing worth discussing. It's all random acts. Good luck with Rumble, good sir. Cousin Eddie is our resident person who flies plane thing, pilot. He's our resident pilot. He's come on twice now to talk about recent aviation. Once it's twice, I think. At least I know once for sure, and I'm not remembering now if the second one was private or public. I'm sure it was public. Okay, but Cousin Eddie, thank you very much. And let me see here. We got everything here. I'm going to go make sure I save all the chats here. So I'll get to everything in as much as humanly possible. If I miss a chat and you're going to be miffed, don't do it. But you know the rules. All right. First things first, before we even get into corrupt Judge Boasberg, the depths and depravity of the corruption knows no bounds. Let's thank our sponsors, which are all Rumble-oriented sponsors today, people. Rumble Premium. Free speech is under attack, but Rumble refuses to back down. We've always believed in empowering voices, no matter how unpopular, and now we're taking the fight to the next level. When major advertisers conspire to pull their dollars, even brands like Drunken Donuts, awful coffee, turned their backs, claiming Rumble had a right-wing culture. Too right-wing for Dunkin' Donuts, apparently. Apparently, they don't like right-wing culture money. But we're not here to fit a mold. We are here to defend free expression. To strengthen this mission, we're created to offer Rumble Premium, completely ad-free experience with exclusive benefits for viewers and creators. You'll find exclusive content from creators like Russell Brand, Timcast, Mug Club with Crowder. It's more than a subscription. It's a stand for free speech. Your voice matters. Join Rumble Premium for a limited time. You get $20 off the annual plan. I think it's $10 a month. So $20 off of that is 20 off of 120. That's like 18% discount. Get it using the promo code RUMBLELIEVE. Oh, that's Rumble Live. I'm an idiot. I thought they were doing like a believer thing. Rumble Live, people. So go use that promo code so they know that of this audience, people are actually going to go support if they can. And if you can't, just continue watching stuff and sharing it. Claim your discount today. Go to rumble.com/premium. Together we will turn the tide, whether you join Rumble Premium or simply keep watching. Your support helps keep free speech alive. Thank you all very much. And we're actually gonna have 3 sponsors, but I'll do the coffee one right now because 1775 coffee is one hell of a way to start the day. Look at that beautiful, bold flavor, exceptional quality, no BS. And BS stands for bullshit, people. It's great coffee. And some of you know that I definitely like coffee and caffeine. But speaking of Dunkin' Donuts, it's trash. 1775 coffee is flicking delicious, and I love it every single morning. No weak brews, no burnt taste, just bold, small batch, single origin coffee that actually delivers. It's got an 85 plus cupping score, meaning it's not just good, it's specialty grade. And trust me, you will tell the difference. Dark roast when you need to wake the F up. Medium roast, easy and smooth. And Vitality Mushroom Blend with lion's mane, proven to help cognitive functions. Handpicked, roasted fresh, and made for those who stand for work, freedom, and coffee that actually delivers. And by the way, you go to 1775coffee.com, promo code VIVA for 15% off. Start your morning with coffee that tastes great and stands for something. Rumble is partnered with 1775. They are running that raffle right now for the Tesla Cybertruck plus 30,000 cash. So every dollar spent gets you entered into that raffle, people. And our third sponsor after our first segment. Boasberg, people. Okay, this is so flipping glorious. The amazing thing is this. I'm not impervious to the impacts of propaganda and malicious smear campaigns. I say I'm not impervious. I know the truth, but you always have those lingering impressions that once were created. Before I ran for the People's Party of Canada, people, PPC, Maxime Bernier's party. By the way, I might, we'll see what's, Maxime, I think, is in Florida. So we'll see what happens there. Before I ran for the PPC, I remember reading articles about how Maxime Bernier was all sorts of fill in the blanks. They ran a coordinated smear campaign. I think it was actually initiated by names need not be mentioned right now, but you can go look it up. Scumbags extraordinaire. And like, as the years go by, you still, it's like brand recognition, except it's defaming recognition. Stephen Miller. Why do I even associate Stephen Miller with far-right extremists? Why? Because of indoctrination from the media. I don't believe it. It's a load of shit. But it has its impact even on introspective people who are aware of the tactic. Well, Stephen Miller, whatever the hell you think about him, you won't call him dumb. You won't call him unintelligent, and you sure as hell might learn a thing or two from him. He was on with, I remember her name because it's a very unfortunate name, Kasie Hunt. Almost sounds like the beginning of a joke. I will not go there because I'm a gentleman. People like me belong in churches. Okay. Kasie Hunt. He was on with her this morning. The entire link is in, Brianna Morello is the one. No, it was Tracy Beans who posted it. It's in our locals community. I gave you the 2 clips and the link. He's talking about Judge Boasberg and this corrupt usurpation of executive authority, commander-in-chief authority, by a first-level district judge. You could call me whatever name you want under the sun, but one thing is for certain, even if you don't think I'm listening, I'm listening. And even if you don't think I'm trying to understand, I am trying to understand. That cannot be said of Kasie Hunt. Listen to this.
Under the terms of the statute, Train Darwagwa is an alien enemy force that has come here as detailed at length in the proclamation at the direction of the Venezuelan government. The statute says that a president has the ability to repel an invasion or predatory incursion that is directed by
a
foreign
state
government.
or a government, right? Are they a state or a government?
This would be yes. It is documented. That TDA was sent by the Venezuelan government in the proclamation. And here's an even more important point: under the Constitution, who makes that determination? A district court judge elected by no one, or the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy?
Pause. Everybody understands what he's saying right now. Kasie Hunt, as relates to the Alien Enemies Act, which Donald Trump invoked to deport illegal criminal gang members, or at the very least, illegal alleged criminal gang members, because they are illegal. That's point blank. The only question is whether or not you think they get to claim asylum. They are illegal aliens. The only question is whether or not they are bona fide members of the Trena de Aragua, which means the train of Aragua, which is a region in Venezuela. The law allows, if there's war or if there is an invasion from I forget the word. Kasie Hunt is trying to narrow this down to say, well, we're not at war, so therefore you don't get to invoke it, not listening to the words that are coming out of Stephen Miller's mouth, which is, what were the words? I forget them now. Here.
Who makes that determination? That TDA was sent by the Venezuelan government in the proclamation. And here's an even more important point.
Sent by their government in a proclamation. So there's no formal declaration of war, but there is an instruction, a collusion with the government to be an invasive force on another country. And as Robert Barnes explained on Sunday night, arguably as punishment, retribution for certain policy.
Under the Constitution, who makes that determination? A district court judge elected by no one, or the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy?
Now listen, there's going to be a short circuit. Look at her. She doesn't want to understand. She wants the gotcha. So we're not at war. But wait for the punchline. I'll shut my mouth now.
President and the president alone makes a decision of what triggers that determination.
So do you then think we are actually at war with Venezuela, the nation state of Venezuela?
You're not hearing me, and you're not understanding me.
That's my mix-up right there. Mashup.
Under the terms of this.
Do you really think we're at war with Venezuela? That's not the threshold. That's not the criteria. That's not what I'm saying. You're not hearing me. You're not understanding me, which means you are either deaf or stupid, or a perfect combination of both, which makes you the perfect CNN journalist. You don't have to be formally at war. What is required is that the government is using this as a means that it's government directed and not random people crossing the border. Here's the link to that part. I'll give you the link to the whole thing. And Stephen Miller nails it with impeccable precision. Now, there was a second clip from that, which I am going to bring up in a second when I find it. Here, it was, Tracy Bean. So here's part 2 of this, where we're going to understand who this judge is. I mean, when you get into the corruption of this judge, Encryptus, my personal Jamie, Encryptus, you don't mind that moniker, right? I think it's
not at all.
Okay, it's beautiful. Encryptus, for those of you who don't know, Encryptus, it's agentguru.io.
Yeah, agentguru_io on X.
On X. He's got a brain which is it's not physically bigger than most brains, at least not that I can tell, but it's got more folds. Let's put it that way. So Encryptus helps me out with this. He's got an AI software that summarizes what would take me a day to get by way of information, which I still go get on my own anyhow. But the summary of Boasberg's corruption is deep and beautiful and thorough. But we'll get to that in a second. But listen to part 2 of this. Kasie Hunt still trying not to understand.
Okay, do you think the Supreme Court has any say over this or not? Like, does the Supreme Court of the United States have any say over the things that you were just outlining right here?
I believe what the Supreme Court will say is what I just said, which is that the president's conduct here is not subject to judicial review.
Okay, but you are acknowledging that they do, in fact, have a say here, even though you think they may agree with you.
What we are expecting is the Supreme Court to say what has always been the case, which is when the president is using his powers as commander-in-chief, those determinations are not subject to judicial review. In other words, the president's designation of Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist organization and as an alien enemy are part of his inherent plenary authority.
Non-justiciable. Inasmuch, he gave an interesting analogy or comparison at another point in this interview, but it's like, do you think a judge can come in and say, no, don't send troops to Syria? Or once in Syria, don't perform this incursion or that incursion? And the answer is obviously no.
There's no way.
At what point in the
There's
system,
no way.
Stephen,
How are you going to expel? Hold on. How are you going to expel illegal alien invaders from our country who are raping little girls, who are murdering little girls, if each and every deportation has to be adjudicated in a district court judge? That means you have no country. It means you have no sovereignty. It means you have no future. It is fundamentally incompatible to have a country and have individual expulsions adjudicated by a single district court judge.
And not just any single district court judge. A corrupt political hack activist of the highest order, confirmed, time-tested, and true. And you understand what Kasie Hunt is asking here, because look, we all have the same question. If someone is denied due process, you say, okay, well, the courts should intervene. If they pick me up and say I'm an illegal TDA member, well, I damn well hope that there's some due process to prove that I'm here legally and that I'm not a member of the TDA. I don't think they accept my kind. I just taking a guess. You do hope that there's some sort of due process. But the question that she's asking is, what role do the courts have here? And Stephen Miller's answer is, the courts can intervene only to declare that this is a non-justiciable issue, that the courts have no authority to even intervene on in the first place. Much like impeachment proceedings. And I know that we've had this discussion. Like, the rules of the impeachment are unfair. Someone was wrongly convicted on impeachment. Go to the courts. No. Imagine if you had an activist judge, let's just call him a Republican judge, who took offense at Trump being impeached and says, no, I'm going to intervene and declare that Congress can't impeach Donald Trump. And they're going to say, no, you don't get to do that. It's a purely political decision, and it's not subject to court oversight for right or for wrong. That's the way it is. And so any activist judge who comes in and says, no, I'm going to declare the conviction or the sorry, he was never convicted, but the impeachment, I'm going to enjoin it, temporary restraining order, undo that impeachment. No, it's not justiciable. And so what Stephen Miller is saying here is that basically military decisions, national security decisions are non-justiciable. And what Boasberg, this corrupt judge, did is in fact encroaching on the executive authority of the commander-in-chief. It's not a little title, the commander-in-chief. And she's like, but so the courts can come in. The courts can come in, and if they do what they're supposed to do, they're going to declare it not justiciable, and no district court activist gets to tell the president how to protect the country. Now, with that said, hold on. SCOTUS, a.k.a. Roberts, smacked Trump down bastards. Yeah, well, we'll get to that later. I can only keep track of so many things in one time. That is provided that, the courts are not politicized to the point where they are going to basically say, now the courts govern the president. And even that which is justiciable, the reason why I say that word like that is because go back to that old lady on the spell on my computer again. Go back to the old lady on the proroguing of Parliament in the UK, speaking on behalf unanimously of the 11 Supreme Court justices in the UK, who declared Boris Johnson's prorogation of Parliament to be justiciable. Because remember, ordinarily they'll say, no, we don't get involved in that. It's not a justiciable issue, much like they concluded with Justin Trudeau's prorogation of Parliament. So you can even see how the justiciability of an issue itself can get weaponized. But if things run properly, and the Supreme Court, as we've multiple times discussed, is not walking society into a breakdown, they'll intervene and say, no, we're going to reestablish the three branches of government: executive, legislative, and judicial. And Donald Trump is the commander-in-chief who makes these decisions unimpeded by activist, corrupt judges like Judge Boasberg. Which brings us to pitching the book. Oh, by the way, before we get into the corruption of the judge, did you guys know that I wrote a children's book? It's called Louis the Lobster, Returns to the Sea. It is illustrated by a member of our locals community. And I'll show you what it looks like because it's beautiful. You should go get a book. Nobody has ever regretted getting a book. My only regret is that it's going to cost Canadians even more than it ordinarily would because of the exchange rate. Louis the Lobster. Lucy Livingston lives on Lily Pad Lane. One day, Lucy goes to the grocery store shopping with her mom and develops the most unlikely friendship, which results in a most unexpected rescue operation. That's all I can give you. Teaser. Louis the Lobster on Amazon. I'll give you the link. All right, now we go from beauty to corruption. Do you guys remember who Judge Boasberg is? At the risk of asking the chat a question that's going to be known to everyone. What is Judge Boasberg most notable for? What corrupt cases involving FBI agents falsifying evidence was Judge Boasberg randomly assigned as a case? Anybody remember? Link. Judge Boasberg was the judge in charge of Kevin Kleinsmith, the FBI lawyer who falsified evidence, submitted it to a secret FISA court, and obtained the unlawful renewal of a secret spy warrant against Carter Page in 2015, 2016, that they then used to, what do they call it, two-step, into unlawfully surveilling Donald Trump. Okay. I wanted to get something out of that. Oh, yes, Encryptus. No, Encryptus, if you can pull up an article just to the email that Kleinsmith falsified. Because what it was they were seeking a spy warrant through the FISA courts, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act courts, under the supervision of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court system, of which whatever the guy's name is, Boasberg, was the presiding judge. Kevin Kleinsmith, when putting together the evidence to support the renewal of the FISA warrant against Carter Page, went into an email to which he was neither the sender nor the recipient, modified the email to remove from the email that Carter Page was a known asset, or was a known asset to intelligence. Let me see if this is the good one here. I think this should be it. This is coming from Encryptus in the back here. I'll bring you just to refresh everybody's memory, because the corruption is so deep and dark. It's beyond words. Here we go. So this is the FBI attorney admits altering email used for FISA application during Crossfire Hurricane investigation. It's what he did that was so insidious. Kleinsmith was assigned to provide legal support to the FBI working on Crossfire Hurricane, and he assisted FBI personnel with applications prepared by the FBI, yada, yada, yada. Okay. During the investigation, there were a total of 4 court-approved FISA applications targeting individual 1, that's Carter Page. Each FISA application alleged there was probable cause that individual number 1 was a knowing agent of a foreign power, Russia. What he did, let me see if we get to it. Here we go. On August 17, 2016, prior to the approval of the first FISA application, yada, 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 the individual had been approved as an operational contact for the OGA from 2008 to 2013. That he had, okay, so he was an asset, and he was in touch with Russian intelligence officers because he was an asset. The first 3 FISA applications did not include individual 1's history with the OGA. So they don't disclose that Carter Page was a known asset working with intelligence, which is why he was in contact with the Russians, because if they had disclosed that, it wouldn't be suspicious that he was in touch with the Russians. Prior to the submission of the 4th, after individual 1 stated publicly that she had assisted in the U.S. government in the past, FBI supervisory special agent asked Kleinsmith to inquire with the OGA as to whether individual 1 had ever been a source for the OGA. Encryptus, what does OGA stand for again? It's driving me crazy. On June 15, 2017, Kleinsmith sent an email to a liaison, yada, 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 seeking clarification as to whether or not individual 1, Carter Page, was a source. And OGA liaison replied to Kleinsmith. On June 17, 2017, Kleinsmith altered the email he received from the liaison by adding the words, "not a source," and then forwarded the email to the FBI. Do you understand how dirty that is? He added the words, Carter was not a source, when Carter was a source, was a known source, and the liaison confirmed to Carter Page, not to Carter Page, to Kevin Kleinsmith, that Carter Page was a source. And had they disclosed that, they wouldn't have gotten a renewal of the secret spy warrant, because they lose all basis to say he's a suspicious colluding with Russia when he's a known asset that was created as that in order to correspond with Russia. I hope that makes sense. Do we know what OGA stands for?
Yeah, it's either Office of Government Accountability or other government agency.
That's probably
weird.
Yeah, I'll go with. I'll more likely bet on the other government agency, because it was basically they were using him as an asset, as a source to gain access to Russia, or not collude, but rather not conspire either, but to communicate with Russian assets. So they knew it. They lied. Kleinsmith falsified a document, submitted to a FISA court. They got the renewal. Boasberg was the presiding judge. He was the presiding judge of the courts. And he randomly got assigned this case, if you believe that, which I don't. Okay, hold on. Let me bring this one up here. Here, we'll play the better part of this. We've got some time, but listen to this.
Counsel made points. I think it's important to put these on the record.
I'm going to pause periodically.
The first is, as many of you know, I am currently the presiding judge of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, or FISC, FISC.
He's the presiding judge for the very court that approved the unlawful, corruptly obtained spy warrant in the first place. Bear in mind, it was never legit to spy on Carter Page, period. They all knew what they were doing. They were all in on it. And he's the presiding judge of that corrupt court system. Now he's got to say, oh my God, I can't believe that someone lied to the court system. And now I'm going to be personally offended as the presiding judge. So I might be biased in this case. Do you guys want me to recuse myself? Because I'll do it. No questions asked if you ask me to. And for some reason, neither of them do.
This case involves false statements in relation to a FISA application and 3 renewals. The case, however, is a criminal case. It is not a FISC case.
Don't get on me in the typos.
It is a case that was randomly assigned to me.
Randomly.
In other words, like any criminal case, be it an indictment or an information, it's placed on our...
But I just want to highlight, listen to how long he goes on about how this was randomly assigned to him. Methinks the judge doth protesteth the randomness too much.
And the random wheel which spins and lands on a particular judge. And this one happened to land on me. So the fact that I am on the FISC or that I am its presiding judge had nothing whatsoever to do with the assignment of the criminal case to my criminal district court docket.
Do we believe him? Hold on, pause. Do we believe that he was randomly assigned this case? But now you understand, like we oftentimes say that the investigation is the cover-up. His disclosure, his transparency disclosure of potential conflict is not transparency. It is the corruption and the corrupt cover-up of the corruption.
The second is that I fully believe that my role on the FISC and as its presiding judge does not preclude my fairly presiding over this case.
Well, of course not, because you want to give the guy a slap on the wrist. So why would they want to yeet you from the file?
Now, while I did not sign any of the 4 applications,
my colleagues did. Now you're going to say, well, he's going to want to come down hard on him, make him look like the fall guy, or he doesn't want to discredit the entire court system to begin with. And it's going to be protecting everybody involved in this because this was one big scheme from the get-go.
That are at issue here. I could see that the FISC itself could be perceived as a victim of false statements. And as I said, I am the presiding judge of the FISC and therefore represent its interests.
Okay, we
They're their positions, and so I'll turn to that now. Mr. Scarpelli, does the government wish me to recuse from presiding over this case?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Schur. Does the defense wish me to recuse from presiding over this case?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. Does either side have any questions as to my involvement in this matter, in the FISC?
Okay, we can solve it. Everybody does understand exactly what's going on there, correct? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hey there, fellas. Do you want me to get off this file? Prosecution says nope. Defense says nope. Judge says, well, I guess I'm going to stay. I've disclosed my conflict, and I'm going to give Kleinsmith a little slap on the wrist. I think Kleinsmith is back to being a member of the bar. Is Kevin Kleinsmith back to being a member of the bar? I think he's back, if I'm not mistaken. He got he got nothing, no jail time. Of course, his wife had just given birth, so they got to, Yeah, Kevin Kleinsmith has been reinstated as a member in good standing of the District of Columbia Bar Association. After pleading guilty in August 2020 to falsifying documents related to the Trump-Russia investigation, he was sentenced to 12 months probation. He agreed to a 1-year suspension of his DC license, effectively retroactive. I remember that at the time. So by the time he got the sentence, it was already back. Following completion of his suspension, the DC Bar restored his status to active member in good standing. While his Michigan bar license was suspended for 2 years, there's no indication to remain suspended as of now. Those specific updates, yada, yada. Well, given that his DC license, the primary focus of most reports, has been fully reinstated, Kleinsmith is effectively back to being a member of the bar. This aligns with the current date of March 18, 2025. Slap on the wrist, no jail time, retroactive punishment that lasted barely a couple of months, and now he's back to being a member in good standing. Can you imagine that? Holy sweet, merciful hell. Okay, so that's part of who Boasberg is. And I was going back to listen to that audio of the hearing, and I'm like, oh my goodness. It all makes sense, because at the time, you don't know how it's going to end. You think maybe he's going to send this guy not away for life, but maybe he's going to give him a meaningful punishment, like a 5-year suspension of your license. I don't know how you even get allowed to go back to practicing law. Imagine if I did that, and I would never do it, not for fear of getting caught, because I have a fear of God. If I did that, or any independent, politically disfavored lawyer did that, they'd be in jail. They would never get their law license back, and they'd be fined into bankruptcy. If we had 2020 hindsight, the answer would have been yes. No, but you will listen to that at the time. I was like, I didn't even pick up on it. Oh my goodness. The disclosure was the cover-up. But there's more. But wait, there's more. After we talk about Rumble app, people. This is one that I should talk about this all the time, even if they don't sponsor the show, because you need to download the Rumble app. Why? You get immediate notifications. You get other functionality through the app that you don't get through. If you're like an antiquated old fart like myself, you still go and you use. I mean, I've downloaded the app myself as well, but get it. It's functional. If you're looking for more freedom in your streaming, download the Rumble app today and experience content like never before. Available on Apple, iOS. You can take Rumble wherever you go, whether you're on the move or just relaxing at home. If you want to enjoy it on the big screen, no problem. Rumble is available on Apple TV. That's Apple TV. That's how old I am. Roku, which I don't know what that is, but I know people use it. Amazon Fire TV, LG Smart TVs, and Samsung TV apps, giving you all the power of Rumble at your fingertips. Rumble is the platform that gives you freedom to watch what you want, when you want, and now you've got a lineup where you can watch it all day long. Download the Rumble app. Make sure to search and follow my channel, as well as the other good channels, like The Quartering, who hands the baton off to me, The Stephen Crowder, which nobody needs a reminder to watch, The Tim Pools, Redacted, I think it's coming on after me at some point today. Subscribe to all of them. Go to the link. It's the Rumble link. It's in the description there, and download the app because it helps you watch what you want to watch, and it's great. 25,000. Look, I can't take credit for this because it's the way that this is working that is actually amazing, because it is creating a day-long network of content creators. There, I said that stupid word again. Truth tellers to watch. It is fantastic. The system is working. The need and the demand is out there. And I forget what they called it yesterday. I've got the 3 o'clock slot this week. It's going to be 4 o'clock next week. And going forward, this is the drive home time. So you can drive home and either go crazy or get sane with Viva. Ooh, I like that. Go crazy or get sane. Check out the links. All of the links are in the description. So Rumble app, $17.75, delicious coffee, and Rumble Premium. Do it if you can. If you can't, just keep spreading the word, snip, clip, and share. Who did I want to go to now? We're still not done with Boasberg. We are not yet done with Boasberg, and it looks like some people are going to be pushing for a little bit of the old impeachy peachy of the judges. I don't want to play this full 7 minutes. I'm just going to read her. In fairness to Dana Bash, because one must still be fair even to their most ideologically vicious adversary. She didn't say this. Quote, once you have a president who is just disregarding what the judges say, you're in a totally lawless state. It was one of her guests, and you can't see my reply on this one. To which I replied, yeah, it's amazing. Once you have judges that usurp the commander-in-chief authority, you no longer have a country. Congratulations, you have, as Elon Musk put it, a bureaucracy. You have basically a judicial tyranny. It is, and I appreciate it. What's the balance of power? So you got each sort of checks the other. Legislative makes the laws, executive enforces the laws, judicial interprets the laws. And then some people are going to say, well, we need the judicial to interpret the act of deporting criminal gangs under the... Yeah, they don't get to adjudicate on that which is not justiciable because it's a purely political executive authority power of the presidency's commander-in-chief status. But it looks like people are actually starting to move on the idea of impeaching. Am I allowed to quote Rashida Tlaib? Was it Rashida Tlaib? No, Rashida Tlaib. It was Rashida Tlaib. Impeach the mother effer? I don't talk like that because I'm a good boy. I'm joking. I very much talk like that. But, you know, in the proper environments. Impeach the MFers? It looks like some people are doing that. Let me bring up the impeachment documents, which have been submitted by Juan. Not Al Franken. Definitely not Al Franken. Oh, come on. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Congressman Brandon Gill. Do we know this guy? Yes, we do. I think we called this guy Superman, right? At one point. This guy looks so much like someone I used to work with back in the day. Congressman Brandon Gill. Yep, absolutely. That's the little crow right there. I know it's Superman. Clark Kent. Okay. He has submitted a resolution to impeach Judge Boasberg. Now, it's funny, actually. Let me go be a little too smart for my own good. He originally tweeted, let me just see if I got this here. He originally tweeted, let's impeach him for high crimes and misdemeanors. Here we go. This one. Okay, I said, good. Impeach the mother effer. This guy is as corrupt. We'll get into the memo. He's not just corrupt. He's a thoroughly, overtly activist, corrupt judge on the bench of the highest order. And probably proud of it as well. He says, I just introduced articles of impeachment against radical activist judge James Boasberg. He is guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors and should be removed from office. To which I said, good, but doesn't it only require bad behavior? As I'm pretty certain it does, unless Barnes has led me astray. And I can tell you one thing. Barnes has not led me astray on anything that I can think of offhand. So just read it because it's kind of glorious, and we'll do it quickly. It's a short read. Impeaching James E. Boasberg, yada, 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 yada. Resolve, this is a submit a resolution. I don't know how it's going to work, but James Boasberg, United States Court for the District of Columbia is impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors. Dude, I don't think you need that threshold. I think it's just bad behavior. And the following articles of impeachment, yada, yada, yada. Articles of impeachment. Okay, fine. Let's skip ahead here. The Constitution provides that the House of Representatives shall have the sole power of impeachment. Okay, fine. The Alien Enemies Act commits to the president's sole and unreviewable discretion the authority to invoke the provisions of the act, including the power to determine whether an invasion has taken place. Or hostile... Encryptus, what was the other word? It's less than an invasion. It's a hostile... Oh, I forget the word. Chat, remind me of what the exact verbiage is. As the Supreme Court has explained, for a court to second-guess a president's determination under the Alien Enemies Act, quote, would be assuming the functions of the political agencies of government, and it is not for courts to question the president's determinations under the Alien Enemies Act, because these are matters...
You mean the word incursion?
Yeah, but there was a word, it starts with P that came before incursion. What was the word? What was the qualifier to incursion? I remember there was another word to it. What does the wording say if you have the statute?
Looking for it again.
And when you get it, let me know. I'll just read this here. It says, through his conduct which violated his oath of
predatory incursion.
Predatory incursion. Thank you. See, the thing is, I remember the way I remembered it, but then I forget what it is. So it's useless. Predatory incursion is different than an invasion. It's different than a war, and it has a meaning. And in this case, I think having a government collude to send over their finest criminals is quite, by definition, a predatory incursion. He's violated his oath of office. Chief Boasberg has prevented President Trump from removing aliens associated with the Tren de Aragua, a designated foreign terrorist organization. He required the planes to turn around. Now he's issued some ridiculous order. Let's get to so this is the articles of impeachment. I would say, it just needs to be bad behavior, and ordering to turn around planes carrying definitive illegal aliens, and arguably some of them might not be members of TDA. They might just be your standard convicted or accused or charged criminals. Predatory, but it wasn't just incursion, it was predatory incursion. Small, just the tip predatory incursion. This is like the difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. You can have a small predatory incursion, it won't be a big deal. No, Trump, go home, El Salvador, take him $6 million. That is one hell of an investment. Certainly cheaper than the lawsuit that comes after your policies result in the brutal death, murder, and worse of Canadian citizens, American citizens, sorry. Now, the thing that I was just going to go to get was the order that this judge just issued as well, coming from Julie Kelly, which I have on the backdrop. I know that I do. Well, I don't. Now I'm going to have to go find it. Okay, give me 1 second. Because this judge is demanding that Trump basically submit to a full audit of what he's doing, where he's doing it, who he's bringing, how many there were. Let me see how. Order from the judge. Is this it? Order from the judge. I think this is it. Yeah, this looks like it's the right one here. Let me bring this up. Julie Kelly is a must follow. Order from Judge Boasberg related to today's hearing. This was from yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, March 17th. Yeah, this is from yesterday. As discussed in today's hearing, the court orders that by noon today, government shall file a notice, yada, 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 setting forth a sworn declaration that no one on any flight departing from the U.S. after whatever was removed solely on the basis of the alien. This is like the judge thinks he gets to audit the executive decisions of the commander-in-chief. Well, you've ordered an incursion in Afghanistan. I demand that you tell me what you're doing, who's doing it, and if I like it, if I agree with it, I'll allow it. A sworn declaration setting forth the proclamation at issue was signed, when it was made public, and when it went into effect. The government's best estimate of the number of individuals subject to the proclamation currently remaining in the United States and how many are in custody. The government's position on whether and in what form it will provide to the court's questions regarding the particulars of flights. Such form could include in-camera review or in a classified setting. I want to know what people are saying about this. Boasberg is a clear and present danger to America, says Spitfire. Boasberg is setting a contempt trap for officials in the administration. He is demanding answers about the number of flights that departed on Saturday, the times of takeoffs, landing, the number of people on each flight to which they were taken, when they were taken into custody. He wants, but probably won't get, granularity. At issue of the 3 flights, according to the lawsuit. Okay, fine. You have a judge now who's not only usurping the executive functions of the commander-in-chief, but now is subjecting him to the willy-nilly scrutiny of an activist judge. And on the activism of the judge, let me see here, going to the memo that Encryptus amassed via AI analysis. Obama appointed judge in 2011, involved in the Clinton email cover-up, which we discussed in detail. Russiagate involved in that, and surveillance abuse, as we went through with that. In 2016, in the heat of the presidential election, Boasberg orders the release of 14,000 previously undisclosed Clinton emails in response to Judicial Watch lawsuit. However, critics argue that the release was deliberately slow and partial, strategically timed to minimize potential damage before the election. What else there? Chief Judge of the D.C., yada, yada, yada. Deportation crisis is the one we're at right now. I love these conclusions. As the chief judge of the D.C. Circuit, Boasberg's rulings will continue to shape the political landscape for years to come. His weaponization of the courts, his partisan judgments, and his clear judicial bias are not mere coincidences. They are deliberate, systemic assault on the integrity of the American legal system. Without meaningful oversight, judicial reforms, or congressional action, figures like Boasberg will continue to operate unchecked, wielding their power not in service of justice, but of political expediency. The question is, who will hold these judges accountable? Encryptus, this is amazing. Did you draft this so that was this set up to be drafted as though it was my thoughts?
No, I have a system that I use to write in a specific manner after I do a bunch of research, kind of fed a bunch of pills into one.
It's amazing, and look, and you won't take this personally, and I've told you, I don't trust AI anyhow, and I'll go and select and double check certain things. Now that I've been bitten in the ass by Grok once, it'll never happen again. But it's an amazing thing that the receipts are all out there, and it's just for not lack of time, the finite amount of time in any given day that we don't do mini deep dives on all of these issues. Boasberg deserves to get impeached, and hopefully this goes somewhere, or at least what's what I'm looking for? Suffices as the shot across the bow for judicial activism. I happen to think that there will have to be actual legal consequences before any judge starts to change tact, but that's my personal belief. We got Roostang over in our locals community who says, at the Roy Green Show, I find it offensive that Mark Carney is described as Prime Minister of Canada and travels just like Justin internationally and calling himself Prime Minister. He's not. He is the leader of the Liberal Party, and that's it. Carney lectures sneeringly when queried by media and is behaving like a WEF bully rep. Parliament has been shuttered the entire time this distasteful charade has evolved. In many parts, it would be recognized as a junta. I agree totally. And then Encrypta says, take note, Viva, there are 22,000 live. Pitch the book. Now, what we are also going to do, so we don't fall too far behind over on Crumble, because we've got a bunch. I can't read the red on black. What is this on the bottom here? Kofefevich. Okay, I get what that is. That's supposed to be Kofefe, bitch, but with the typo. For Rumble tech support, listening on PC got directed here from the quartering, but audio defaults to off. So need to walk back to a computer, turn volume on. So not easy. I will get this to the highest of the higher ups at the team. I'm going to screen grab that and I will send that there for sure. Rain Forest, I got that one, says stream train starts at 8 with Bungie. Oh, yeah, Avita. Oh, I feel bad. Avita's up there. Avita is having some of the biggest streams she's ever had. I think she had 50,000 plus this morning. The system works. The demand is there. And hopefully I will be able to meet the challenge and not let anybody down with the quality and insights I crazily offer daily. Avita, Vince, Louder with Crowder, Timcast, quartering here. Rainforest, thank you. Everyone on the stream today is chilling a different coffee. Chilling. I'm getting jitters. Well, I like my coffee. Coffee is a very personal thing. We got White Rhino Canada is now a monthly supporter. White Rhino, welcome to the channel. King of Biltong is in the house. We have revamped our website and branding. Check out Biltong USA, home of the best biltong in the US. Go to biltongusa.com. Code VIVA for 10% off. If you don't know what that is, it is prosciutto made from beef. It's flipping delicious. Piri piri is the perfect level of spice for many, if you're a little girl. If you like the hot spice, you go to Wagyu Ghost. That's what I take. And their ordinary biltong is just delicious. King of Biltong, biltongusa.com. Code VIVA. Not an official sponsor, but always ranting in the chat. The Real Encrypta says there are 25,000 now. Hit the like button. Oh, wait, let's go see something here. Okay, the ratio is not just so you know, it's almost like a 25% ratio on CommuTube. We can do better, but I'm not particularly picky for those things. Rumble set up a day-long middle finger. Crash Bandit says, Rum set up a day-long middle finger streaming session to the mainstream. Welcome all. Okay, I get that. That's a compliment. Chris Pavlovsky, if you're watching, brand Rumble TV so I can explain what you are doing to others. It needs to be a thing on X. Also, you owe Viva $100. Why? I like my coffee black, just like my metal black metal. I don't know what that means, but I do say that nobody likes black coffee. I don't understand who drinks it. I will sooner not drink coffee than drink coffee without cream. And that is all we have to take care of with that. Now, we've got a guest coming in a few minutes. We'll see when he comes because we're going to get to the Canadian stuff. But before we even get there, I just wanted to highlight the virtue signaling hypocrisy of... Do you guys remember Al Franken? Well, hold on. I can't break into this story without Al Franken grabbing boobies. How is everybody old enough to remember this? Al Franken accused of sexual misconduct for forcibly kissing, groping Is that a person's name? Does everybody remember this, or am I getting that old? Like, I remember things that you don't. First of all, there's a problem here. He looks a little bit too much like me when I have a clean-shaven face and short hair. Maybe that's because we're all descendants from the same people. Okay. This is Al Franken, and this is not to rehash things that people have done, hold them against them forever. But when they want to act like a bunch of virtue-signaling jackasses, yeah, I might have that inclination. In the chat, who remembers this? Yes for yes, I remember. No for no, I don't remember. I just want to see how many people are old enough to remember yes. It seems like most people remember this. Yes for yes or one for yes. That was Viva says. Okay, it's unanimous yes. Okay. No, there's a no in there. There's a no from Table OP Joe. I don't mean to single you out. And there's another one from Ghost.
It is nearly unanimous on both platforms.
Well, it doesn't. I can still pick on the one person who doesn't know. Anyway, that's Al Franken. So he's, and but as far as it goes for the degeneracy of which liberal capital LD Democrats are accused, this is pretty mild. Forcibly kissing. I mean, Louis C.K. was accused of pulling out his junk and touching it with the consent of the people that he was with, but some people say you can't really get consent for that when you're in positions of power, yada, yada, yada. Al Franken had a good take on this. Where was he? Al Franken. Oh, come on. I had it, Al. Here, Al Franken. Everybody's very brave when it comes to theoretically defending the rights and due process of terrorist gang members. The Trump administration acted in open defiance of judges' orders and are laughing about it. The men flown to El Salvador to undergo horrific hard labor conditions may or may not be members of a Venezuelan criminal group. Yeah, maybe. Maybe they're just picking people up. I saw the videos, by the way. Not to judge, there were certainly no nannies there. They were sent without vetting, says Booby McGrabber Al Franken. This is illegal and inhumane. Won't someone think of the Tren de Aragua gang members? Just the latest example of Trump defying the law and human decency. Hey, Al, I got an idea. Al Franken, I didn't bring this one up, but Al Franken just sold his $4 million co-op, so he doesn't have that property to house them in. But I'm sure he replaced his $4 million co-op with a equally fine residence that I'm sure has a couple of extra bedrooms and at least one extra bathroom. Al, don't be a sissy. Don't be a virtue signaler. Put them up in your home. Who else did we have? I think that's it. There were a bunch of others, but there's no end to it. We're going to take a trip over to Canada, everybody. And you're going to say, oh, I'm not interested in Canadian politics. You will be. And if you're not already, you will be, but I think you are. And I think, it's I've been going hard on Mark Carney. The White Trash Panda says, Viva, it's a song by mindless self-indulgence. Also, I do enjoy black coffee for nearly 2 decades now. Cream, sugar, other additives take away from the natural flavor of the beans. I can tell you the beans have absolutely no flavor when they don't have cream and sugar in them because I don't eat them or drink them. I like my coffee black like my metal. Okay, I got that one now.
That's wrong, by the way. Really good coffee is black coffee. If you can taste the coffee and enjoy the coffee, that's a good coffee.
The blackest
I start my
coffee.
day every single day with Greek coffee. I think it's one of the best ways to have it in the entire world. Wouldn't start any day without it.
Well, the only blackish coffee is, as far as I'm concerned, that I can drink is Turkish coffee, which is very sweet or has sugar in it. I don't know. Greek coffee, I presume, is similar-ish to Turkish.
It's basically the same thing, yes, but
because you got sugar there. Well, anyways, I stand by my. I will not drink coffee if I don't have cream. The other thing is that, well, I won't get into biology. Okay, never mind. Okay, we're going to Canada. And I think I see our guest up in the backdrop, Marty from up north. Marty, hold on a second. Before Marty comes in, or he can come in, but I'm getting it right now. Hold on. I got to get this because I cannot hear the word Marty without thinking of this. Here, hold on. Let me see if give me 30 seconds, and I'm gonna bring this up here. Oh, I can't get it. It's from Happy Gilmore. It says, Marty, I keep telling you, this is some handmade quilted stuff here. This is some premium gold. Ben Stiller, Marty from up north. is coming up. Marty, when you're ready, screen yourself, and whether or not you wanted to partake in the conversation involving Mark Carney, we're gonna do it, sir. I think we have some overlapping audience, but just in case my audience doesn't know who you are, we're gonna. I think we're not taking a fight on social media to the Rumbleverse. I was getting into it with someone about Canada, where people are accusing me of being a coward fleer or sowing discord among Canadian politics. Marty, tell everybody who you are if they don't know.
Well, I'm just an average Joe. I'm a retired engineer living in Alberta who, my name on Twitter is Marty Up North, unacceptable fact checker. The fact checker is what I do. I like to just bust narratives and bust narratives. I mean, not a day goes by where I don't see a story online that catches my attention that needs a little bit of fact checking. And unacceptable comes from my stances towards vaccine mandates and other issues during COVID. So that's who I am, just a retired guy from Alberta.
I mean, you know what? I'll save the Carney stuff for afterwards, because maybe you don't want to necessarily get involved in that.
I'll get involved in anything, Dave. I mean, it's all good, man. In fact, I'd love to talk about Carney because I think it is a timely topic right now.
Well, the way we got you reached out to me privately, but we've been connected for a while. Is people are not accusing me of being blackpilled on Canada, but I might be. But the discussion was whether or not Canada has fallen beyond the point of no return. You're in Alberta, you say, right?
Correct.
Okay, so Alberta is probably the most salvageable and the most down-to-earth places in all of Canada that remains. Not to say that there's no good Canadians in Ontario or Quebec or even British Columbia. Statistically and proportionally, I think they're more concentrated in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. For those who don't know, we're watching Carney come in, continue with the destruction that Trudeau has been levying against Canada for the last 10 years. What's it like up in Canada, and what are your impressions of the salvageability of the nation?
Well, for me, the salvageability of the nation in terms of confederation, it's broken. To me, it's broken. I mean, it's you showed my Twitter profile. I don't hide this. I'm an Alberta separatist. So confederation as a 157-year experiment to me is broken. The country's too big. One of the maps that I like to show all the time is a map of Canada with a little line at about, I don't know, the 54th parallel or something like that, or not 54th, lower than that. And, half the country's population lives in that Toronto, Montreal corridor, and they consistently elect liberals who then decide what's good for the rest of the country. And then little groups of pockets like me in Alberta, we're basically ignored by the people in Ottawa. And so that's my thoughts. I mean, Confederation's broken, and Trudeau really broke it. And then I thought there was a hope. There's a path to victory for Pierre Poilievre, but Pierre winning only buys Canada a little bit more time the way it is. But I think and if Carney gets elected, then the separatist movement in Alberta will just explode.
So for everybody who doesn't know, I was taking a little bit of shit, and I don't care. I was taking a little bit of shit from Harry Faulkner, who is not Harrison Faulkner of Fox News. It's a guy named Harry Faulkner, last name spelled the exact same way, journalist at, I'll get it in a second, who was accusing me of being doom pilling and I left and I fled, and so therefore I shouldn't talk about what's going on in Canada. I have been long of the opinion that Trump is not being serious about the 51st state, for a number of reasons, and one of which is, not the least of which is, he doesn't want all of Canada joining America anyhow. What he wants is potentially some minerals, some oil, some access to the north, and maybe land access to Alaska, which would consist of splitting Canada to the point where it would no longer be contiguous. Do you think that Trump is serious about annexing any portion or all of Canada?
No, I mean, he was trolling us. I mean, if he wants, you're right. If he wants something, he wants our resources. He definitely doesn't want our people. I say this all the time. You live down there. I've worked in the U.S. quite a bit. I don't think most Canadians would last, a year working in the U.S. because you have to be productive. You have to, it's a different culture working down in the U.S. But no, I don't think Trump is serious about that. In fact, I'm glad that he's kind of backed off on that rhetoric for a while, because I think inadvertently he was giving the Liberals a pretty big boost with some of that rhetoric.
I'm following the Kalshi markets, and I've made my own predictions. I cannot believe that it's virtually 50-50 that the Conservatives and the Liberals are going to... It's 50-50 in terms of who's going to form the next government, set aside whether or not it's going to be a majority, or who the the next prime minister is going to be. Right now, it's actually 52% to 48% that Carney is going to be the next prime minister of Canada.
Yep.
I cannot fathom that.
It's I can't get in. No, I'm in the same place. I can't fathom that. I mean, I doubted the polls at first, but you're not talking the Leger polls. You're looking at
this is a betting market. Now these are
market.
These are able to be manipulated by early money and influence and whatever. And I do think there's a little bit of play in there as well. So they can then say, look, even the betting markets are 50-50. In my view, it's not 50-50. And as much as I don't have much confidence in the Conservatives, it's not 50-50 at all. But the mere fact that the markets are even there is shocking.
Yeah, well, that's the Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, people, Trump 1.0, first president, gave the Liberals a boost. I mean, he was, he's scary to the Liberals and to Eastern Canadians. I mean, remember, we've been conditioned for 50 years now in Canada to believe that we're better than Americans, or we're different than Americans, right? I mean,
I mean, it's you're not saying it because you believe it. It's like Americans are boorish, crass, ill-informed, uneducated, can't find countries on a map, and we speak multiple languages, and we're like the Europeans of Canada is basically
we're the Europeans of Canada. Our healthcare is better, exactly. So we've been brainwashed that way for 50 years, and Trump 1.0 was scary. I was hoping that I love Trump. I mean, I love what he's doing for America, and I think he's on the right path. But now he's the fact that he turned just a little bit of attention to Canada. I mean, there is an upsetting part of this, right? I mean, we are cousins. Like we've been, we're next door to the Americans. We're great trading partners. We took it on the chin after 9/11 with Americans in Afghanistan and places like that. So some of Trump's recent actions, they're a bit hurtful. But it's scaring the crap out of Eastern Canadians, especially in the big cities. And the Carney Liberals are absolutely capitalizing on that right now. So the polls are real. But he's a one-trick pony, right? I mean, that's how Carney's being paraded in front of us. He's the savior who's going to protect Canada from Trump.
He's going to protect Canada from the Liberals because he's undoing Liberal policy that they passed as part of their landmark legislation in 2018. Well, we're not going to disagree with each other on very much, Marty. Marty, do you speak French as well?
Yeah, it's my name. It's
okay.
Yeah.
I thought I detected just a hint of French accent. What? Okay. Is your last name known to the world?
Yeah. My last name is Bélanger.
Bélanger. Okay, that's cool.
Martin Bélanger. So I'm actually a Franco-Ontarian, but I did work in Quebec from 2016 to 2018. So I worked 3 years in Quebec, which got my French back a little bit. But yeah, you can detect that tinge in there.
You've got a Rumble channel as well, correct?
YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm joking. Just
and my YouTube presence is different. That's my outdoor channel. Okay, I've been known there for 20 years as an outdoor guy.
First of all, it was purely facetious. But no, everyone's going to get your link, and I'll put that in the chat. But look, we're talking Carney, and you've been following the latest news. For everybody who doesn't know, I'll pull up the memo, but. His daughter, they've dug up this essay that his daughter wrote when she was 20, because it was in 2020. Yeah. Transactivism is a mild understatement. And okay, hold on. I actually have to get, let me get the. I replied to somebody where I said, I think I disagree with your conclusion because this essay is pure transactivism of the highest order. And then the media is coming out and saying we have to, not attack children, which is not the case anyhow. Here. I just want to read the conclusion of this essay because the rest of it, I read it. It's not that I didn't read it. Some people might not have. The last paragraph of this essay, the whole thing is well written, but it's indoctrination. This is Mark Carney, the current anointed Prime Minister of Canada's daughter, who's now 24 years old, writes, trans children deserve support, love, affirmation of their identity, which, well, all children deserve love, support. and access to resources like puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and gender-affirming clothing. They also deserve to have all of this on their own terms without the legitimacy of their transness being interrogated over and over by trans meds and TERFs, which stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminists. So let's make space for the trans kids who exist in ways not legible to gender identity clinics or whose narratives are too frequently co-opted by supposed concerned parents. Let's hear it for the inauthentic. You could try to read it and make sense of it. What came out, which is shocking on a policy and national level, as far as I'm concerned, is that Carney, after he moved to England to become the governor of the Bank of England, within short proximity, and whether or not it was even part of the reason why he moved to where he moved to, because the Tavistock clinic was, according to this essay, a couple of blocks away. His daughter is attending the Tavistock clinic for what type of care, we don't know, but she's attending it. This is the controversial Tavistock, now defunct, although they've apparently rebranded, at the age of 13. I mean, when you hear this, Marty, what goes through your head?
Well, I mean, a couple of things go through my head. I mean, I've seen, first of all, I wrote about this morning and yesterday. A zebra doesn't change its stripes, right? So Carney and his family, they have a pattern that they've lived and a lifestyle that they've lived and a philosophy. And he's trying to distance himself from that to try to get us to believe that he's a different person or whatever. And I don't buy it. So, and online today, people are saying, how dare we bring up his kids in political context? I'm like, nope, there's no way. My gut thought on all of this is that the liberals in the last decade have thought nothing of doing things that harmed our kids. And I want to know where the current, the leader of the Liberal Party, who is currently our prime minister. I hate it, but he's our prime minister. I want to know where his head's at, where his family's at. I want to know everything about him, and nothing's off limit.
This is when, by the way, I believe we're raiding Candace after we're done here, but this is Ron Butler, who's, and I'm not putting this guy, he's entitled to his opinion. I think he's wrong, and I'll tell him why I think he's wrong. Candace, it's Candace Malcolm, not Candace.
Yeah, Candace Malcolm.
Sorry,
she's also an Albertan.
Yeah, I know that she. I know that that might have been where I thought was the original breaker of the story. We are rating Candace Owens at 4:30, by the way, everybody. So he says, take down this post, take this post down, Candace. Please take it down. It's his kids. We need to leave family alone. You can attack Carney all day long as hard as you want, but please just leave his kids out of this. Carney decided to run. His family isn't running. This is a mistake on so many levels. And all that I have to say is, first of all, his kid's 24 years old right now. She's an adult. She's his kid, but an adult. Second, his decision as a parent to send his kid to Tavistock Transgender Clinic, a clinic which performed genital mutilation on mentally vulnerable children. Like in the essay, they should have access to hormone blockers and puberty blockers, as though that's not genital mutilation in terms of delaying puberty to the point where it no longer occurs properly. It's a question of policy of the highest order of relevance, and we'll get to the timeline. Like to me, it's the dirtiest thing on earth, because these are the people who have been forcing other people's kids to go to trans drag queen story time hour, whatever. And now they're saying, leave out the prime minister's 24-year-old trans activist daughter, when this is very much a reflection of where Carney is as a human in terms of what he is prepared to do to his own kids. Lord only knows what he would do to other people's kids.
Yep. I mean, we're 100% on the same page there. I mean, historically, I would have, if you told me this 10 years ago, I would have probably said, leave the kids out of it, especially if they're kids, like, an 8-year-old kid, 16-year-old kid.
For sure. I mean,
but a 24-year-old kid who's writing essays, no, that's fair game. That's fair game. Yeah.
I remember it was with Greta Thunberg at the time. I remember, and I think I could even find tweets to this effect where I was like, everyone's making fun of this girl who's, on the spectrum and clearly a child. It's like, can't make fun of her. When she becomes an adult, then, and continues activism, then she's making herself part of the discussion. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care what his daughter's name is. I don't care about her identity, and nor has that been any part of my emphasis on this. I care about what it means in terms of his policies, what he's going to tolerate by way of society. But more importantly, Marty, I don't know if you have time to do this. I had on yesterday Data Republican, and I think there's something to explore here. But it's all coming together. Like, I agree, they don't necessarily connect. I'm scratching my leg here, the dots. But we remember this picture. This is Mark Carney right here with Ghislaine Maxwell. That's Mark Carney's wife. This was explained away back in the day as, oh, they were just at some music festival in London, which they were. I was like, okay, fine. You can't draw much conclusions from a singular photograph. I mean, everyone's like, well, then you got to convict Trump as well by all the pictures. You're in milieus, you intermingle, fine. Then there was the story where Carney was under, he was under some scrutiny because there was a Bank of England auction or something where they were doing some untowardly stuff. It was ostensibly sponsored by the Bank of England because one of the things they were auctioning was a tea time with Carney, and there was accusations of improprieties going on there, and they had to distance themselves from it. Carney was accused of having attended a private dinner with Prince Andrew well after the Epstein scandal in 2014. That goes into my memory bank. And then I just like, okay, this is all starting to let's just piece this together. He moves to England to become the governor of Bank of England in 2013. Photographed with Ghislaine Maxwell, 2013. 2013, his daughter goes to Tavistock. 2014, he's attending private parties with someone who intermingles with convicted pedophiles because Epstein pleaded guilty to soliciting prostitution of a minor. And now we're being told that we can't ask questions about this. I mean, it's again, going back to the beginning of my show today, is the suppression is the cover up here, obviously.
Well, let me just say this. I mean, Carney's been prime minister for 4 days now, right? He got sworn in by the governor general on Friday afternoon, so he's on day 4 of his term. And the bigger story this week already is how much he's is watching the liberal media do mental gymnastics and backflips to try and walk back old stories, to try and defend him. I mean, the left is eating itself right now. I mean, yesterday, I don't know if you saw that, but yesterday Carney was in Europe, and he had an impromptu press conference where he spoke for 30 minutes. And the media's figuring this out, right? They're letting him talk. Don't stop him. Ask him questions. He's so pompous. He just goes on and he talks. He contradicts himself about every 30 seconds while he's talking. The CBC got on there. Rosemary Barton.
Barton. Okay, yeah. you have to fill up in the crowd because I missed this where she got berated or reprimanded by Carney.
So she asked a legit question, which is rare from for your viewers who are not entirely familiar with the CBC. I mean, the CBC is the propaganda arm of the government, and so Rosemary asked a semi-tough question of Carney, and he literally answered it, and he said "point final" in French, "point final," meaning we're done talking about this. Well, that's the wrong thing to say to. So she probed him a little bit. Well, today, the left media went after Rosemary Barton, one of theirs. I
want to pull up a few things. I do not like Rosemary Barton. I'm trying to pull back some of my tweets for her where she's talking about, oh Lordy, she was very much anti-trucker. She's like the Kasie Hunts of Canada.
She's a super fan. She was a super fan of Justin Trudeau. Super fan. I mean, she would, she fawned over Trudeau basically. So her interaction with, actually, there's some circles that say that her interaction yesterday with Carney was perhaps a little bit planted to try and give her back some credibility, because as a CBC journalist, she had lost all credibility during the Trudeau era. So now they're trying to win some of that credibility back with the Conservatives. I think that's far-fetched. I think she was just asking a question, a legit question, and Carney blew her off, and then she became an enemy of the left-wing media. It was hilarious to watch.
It's wild. I mean, I think I have some clips that I wanted to show about the Tavistock Institute, but I mean, I think everybody knows about the controversy of this place. It's so obviously relevant, and now you've got the sycophants in Canadian media saying we can't ask any questions about it. This is talking about some of the treatments that they gave, which had the effect of lowering voices or raising voices and irreparably. So is the media going after Carney about the daughter thing? I mean, or is my impression of X sort of, and not the daughter?
No.
His support for child genital mutilation is. I'm sorry to call it that. That's what it is when you cause children to have micro penises for the rest of their life because you told them you could pause puberty, but it doesn't pause puberty. It sometimes delays it to the point of never occurring fully, and then they can't achieve orgasm, and they're physically messed up for the rest of their lives.
No, I think on this one, everybody's sort of testing the waters, right? What can you talk about? What can you not? I mean, at this point, nobody's asked Carney his opinion on it. I mean, Carney's still being sheltered. Actually, I think he's going to get more and more sheltered. He's not going to be allowed to be off script, right? I mean,
he's Canada's Kamala. I mean, it's amazing how these things rhyme.
Yeah, I mean, he's in Nunavut right now. He's in the Northwest Territories, literally as far from anything as possible. And but he'll be back tomorrow, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. But he's a one this is a Twitter media story, but it's not a national media story at this point.
Let me see here. I want to just so everybody understands where none of it is up in Canada. I've never been. It's one of the places I absolutely want to go to, but I won't go in winter. So this is Quebec. This is the James Bay right here. Nunavut. And now you understand, by the way, what we're talking about in terms of the north, potential trans, whatever routes through the north. Why this is so, why it's
the
so
Northwest
important.
Passage is the one that's often referred to, right? If you don't go down south by the Panama Canal, then your alternative when there's no ice is to go through the Northwest Passage. But he's way up there right now. He's way up there.
That's funny. Out none of it. And I would say one last thing about the Canadian stuff. Where was it? It was okay.
Well, I'll say this: we're all like he campaigned for a month on the fact that Trump was the biggest existential threat to Canada in 100 years. Like that was how hyperbolic they were. And as soon as he got elected, the first thing he did was fly over to Europe to go and strengthen our relationships with the Europeans. I mean, we do $700 billion worth of trade with the U.S. We do $3 billion worth of trade with France, and he went to France. So he's afraid to go visit Trump. He doesn't want
question. And the funny thing is, like during the debates where he says, "I agree with Chrystia Freeland and I agree with Karina Gould about how we deal with America." On my first day in office, I'm going to do dollar for dollar retaliatory tariffs. We're going to make it hurt, and then I'm going to call Trump. And I don't know. Maybe he did call Trump. I don't think he did, but he certainly is past his first day in office, and he hasn't seemingly done anything to not even restore relations, but to resolve what he described as being the greatest threat to America since World War II, to Canada since World War II.
Yeah.
But no, Marty, this was the one that I thought was good, and I like to put people on blast when they do deserve it. Do you know Mayor Carolyn Parrish? You ever heard of her?
No.
The mayor of Mississauga. This is how stupid, petty, and utterly self-destructive Canadian politics and politicians are right now. At the request of many, she says, the city has begun to remove all American flags from sports arenas and locations along Lake Ontario, including the pier at Snug Harbor in Port Credit. Oversized Canadian flags are ordered and will be installed. And I think you deserve to be voted out of office and barred from ever entering the States ever again.
Yeah, we're talking. I mean, that's virtue signaling. I mean, we're talking arenas, right? I love going to, especially along the border. I mean, we play hockey against you guys, and our arenas have the Canadian and American flags. And for somebody to go remove the American flags, that's insane. Yeah, but I mean that's the level of insanity we're at right now. I mean, liquor stores are pulling bourbon off the shelf.
So this is true. Like I've been posting on this, and my biggest fear is that maybe it's not as accurate. It is COVID 2.0 in the liquor stores.
Absolutely, totally. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. You go into the liquor store, and they were ordered inventory that they bought. We don't even have government controlled liquor stores here in Alberta, but they still passed the rule and told the store owners to remove the stock from their shelves. So they're removing bourbon. And in some provinces like British Columbia, they're being very specific. In British Columbia, they're making them remove products from red states. So bourbon, because that's going to hurt, but don't remove the wine that comes from California. That's
because they're virtue signaling, but they don't want to give up the stuff they really like. I mean, not every, bourbon is not as widely consumed as wine. There's no question about that.
No question. Yeah.
Just so people understand also where Mississauga is. It's near Toronto, but like it's right across from America. Like it's Oh, it's wild. Marty,
Yep.
I'm not going to keep you for my. I'm going to have our locals after party. But what I wanted to do was, where can people find you? And well, they can find you. I'm going to give you a link again. But what do you want to tell the world?
Find me on Marty Up North on X is where I'm at. No, what do I want to tell the world? I mean, I want to tell my American cousins. Like, I'm actually heading down to the U.S. right away. Here's a perfect time to go visit because everybody, my neighbors are canceling their trips to the U.S. in some sort of protest. So I want to put on my Canadian flag. I want to come visit Americans, and I want to reestablish and make sure that everybody understands that what Ottawa is saying is not what is on the minds of the average Canadian.
What do you think I understand the Wexit movement is picking up steam, but what do you I think the likelihood is zero that any province in Canada actually secedes from Canada, let alone joins the States. What's your prediction for Alberta at any point becoming part of America?
Not in my lifetime. I think Alberta is on the step of establishing a stronger sovereignty on its own in the next decade. Similar to Quebec. I mean, our own pension plan, our own tax collection, stuff like that. I think Alberta would do well testing those waters, being independent first before being part of the U.S.
No, I think it's not going to happen. I still don't think Trump is serious, but I think it was serious negotiation that he was going for.
I mean, Americans don't want it. Like, I'm telling Americans, you do not want a big chunk of Canada becoming a 51st state, because everything in Canada is way left compared to even your lefties.
The conservatives, I dare say, Pierre Poilievre's conservatives are on par with some of the more moderate Democrats in America.
Absolutely. So you'd just be getting a bigger chunk of left-leaning voters, and you don't want that. So leave us alone. Leave us alone.
Marty, it was great. We've never met. We've never spoken in real life, but I know we've interacted on Twitter and DM'd in Twitter. But it's great to meet you.
We did one show together 2 years ago when I did. I had that viral Trudeau Must Go movement in September 2022. You were one of the first guys to reach out and do a show with me.
Holy crab apples!
Back in those days, I had no followers, man. I was a 5,000 person.
No, forget that. The fact that I don't remember my own life. Well, I apologize for that.
Yeah. No, that's cool. And we interacted very recently. I was part of that weird interaction with Harrison Faulkner.
I don't know what his deal is. I don't think whether or not he's right or wrong, and I think he's wrong. I don't think it looks. I don't think many people are going to gain many points by trying to demonize me. And if you're going to do it, you better do it on like very, very good, solid grounds. Not I left and went to Florida. How's the weather there? Original. I've never heard any liberals say that to me before. The weather's good, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Marty, it's great to meet you. Well, great to talk again, and we'll keep in touch.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks.
All right, have a good one. And now, people, what I'm going to do is before we raid, I think we're raiding Candace. I want to make sure I get the right link because I don't want to screw this up. Here we go. Good. I got the link. Okay, good. Okay. We're going to raid Candace in a couple of minutes. And when you go in there, there's so many jokes that we can make. Don't make any jokes that are politically incorrect. We could, but we won't because we have good discernment. Let me just read the rants that are left, and we're going to end this and then go over to our Viva Barnes Law for the after party. Viva, have you seen the fresh civil suit against the convoy and all the supporters? Verax, I haven't. Is it by Paul Champ? Oh, let's see that. Verax, I'm going to go look for that, but if you can link it or send it in our locals community, that would be great. Lucy the dog. Meanwhile, Tina Peters, a 7-year-old patriot, is rotting in prison. Free Tina. #Truth Matters. Commandeur Kim says, beautiful Alberta, join your southern cousins. We will lower your taxes, give you all your guns back, ship Trudeau back to Cuba, and Carney back to the EU. Love Americans. That's fantastic. And then Nike 7 says, the move for Pierre Quebec Energy, East Pipeline, or transfer payments are gone. Your move have not province. Okay. Your move have not province, that being Quebec. Okay. And then the White Trash Panda says, Viva, it's a song by the Mindless. I got that. All right. Now, what I wanted to do also, let me take this out, make sure I didn't miss any tipped questions over on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Viva, see Dank Knight MMA on X. He gives a good breakdown of Carney, Blarney, and other poignant insights. And Encryptus says, okay, good. How many minutes left? Okay, we're going to go raid Candace Owens. But before we do that, one thing. If you're inclined to come on over to our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community, here's the link for that. Locals, boom. And now we're going to go raid Candace Owens. Let her know from where you came. And Jeremy Boring is out as the CEO of Daily Wire. Well, I'm sure Candace Owens right now is channeling a little Mark Twain. I have never wished a man dead, but I have read a great many obituaries with delight. How do I do it? It's raid/cripe. Encryptus, how do I do it again? Is it raid/?
It's actually / then raid.
And then a space /raid. Then we do this.
Yep.
Okay. I did. Okay, good. Confirm raid. Here we go. Raid Candace Owens and let her know from whence you came, from where you came, from which other channel you came. Confirm raid. Done. Right on 4:30 on the nose. Okay, let me just go to Candace's chat and see what's happening here. I'm gonna have to go find out now. There you go. It says Viva has raided the stream. This is so cool, people. Hold on, let me bring this up, and then we're gonna come to locals for our after party. Look how cool this is. Whoop, nice one, Viva. There we go. Look at that number. Rise number. Okay, this is so cool. Okay, well now I actually kind of want to go watch. I want to go watch Kansas and see what's happening with Jeremy Boring. I wish ill on nobody, but it is interesting that he's out. The things I know that I know confidentially, and that you would never know that I know because I don't even disclose what I know. I just, quietly allude to knowing things. With that said, we're going to go and come over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. And if you're not coming there, go raid Candace and enjoy her podcast. And I will see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Oh, Gad Sad is coming on Thursday. Thursday, we're going to do a live interview just because of timing. Gad Sad, the Gadfather, 3:00. And tomorrow we'll be live. Bada bing, bada boom. Updating the stream to locals, supporters only. Thank you, Rumble, for being here. Viva Fry, Rumble, the Viva Fry on Twitter for saucy potty mouth Viva, and vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Go forth and raid Candace's stream. Peace. Okay, now we got this. Look at this. I can't see my face anymore. Encryptus. So what's the story on Jeremy Boring? Like that. There we go.
I don't know, but we keep dropping people into streams that are not actually streaming.
They'll get the hang of it. I guess it looks like there's a pre-show. Anyways, they're going to get the hang of it. It's the first week, and then next week is the official schedule. But it's an amazing phenomenon because. Oh, sorry, I just got distracted. Felt like my lisp was particularly bad. I want to see the fresh civil suit against the Ottawa protest. Google Ottawa civil suit. Let's see here. Court denies certification of 2.5 billion black civil servant. That's not okay. I got to put it in Canada. Ottawa civil suit, civil proceedings. Encryptus, do you think you can find it faster than me? Ottawa, do I put in protest? Freedom Convoy proposed class action. News. I see nothing in the news that's new about the lawsuit. So I don't know if that's inaccurate or accurate, but either way. Excuse me. Over on Viva, Dankman MMA on X gives a good breakdown of the Carney Blarney. Okay, so I want to go see this. Dankman MMA on Dankman MMA. Is it Dank Knight MMA? Here we go. Let me make sure my DMs are not open here. Although you wouldn't see much anyhow. Dank Knight, not Dank Man. Oh, it's Dan Knight. Come on. That's why he even capitalized the K. Dan Knight, not Dank Knight MMA. We said from the beginning this was going to be a nothing burger tip, a total waste of taxpayer money, desperate attempt for Mark Carney to look like a statesman while Canada crumbles under his leadership. And guess what? Carney didn't let us down. Okay, well, great post by Dan Knight. Okay, if anything, he over-delivered on incompetence because here's what actually happened. Carney flies across the Atlantic, spends 2 days wandering around Europe, comes home with nothing. No major commitments from the UK, no support from France, not even a joint press conference with Keir Starmer. Imagine that. Carney, the newly minted Prime Minister, Doesn't even get to sit down with Carney. That's how little influence Carney has. And what did Carney do? Exactly what globalists always do when they get embarrassed, pretend it was all part of the plan. We don't need another country to validate our sovereignty, Carney smugly said. Right. That's what you say when no one's willing to validate your sovereignty. That's what a kid says when they get picked last for dodgeball. I didn't want to play anyway. And here's the real question. Why was Carney in Europe to begin with? Why at the time when Donald Trump, yada, yada, is Carney not in D.C.? The answer is obvious, because Trump doesn't want to see him. And why would he? If Trump meets with Carney, he's legitimizing him. I like this. That's a good analysis. He's giving Carney an international platform, boosting his credibility on the world stage, and Trump, who has spent years battling the globalist elite, wants no part of Carney's nonsense. So Carney ran to Europe, hoping for a warm reception. Didn't even get that. Carney's carbon tax deception. Okay, how long is this? My goodness, man. Attention span. Weaning. I can't go through all of this. Carney's carbon tax, the scam continues. Let's talk about what he did do. Trade with Europe. Okay, I'm going to read this the way I would ordinarily read things. I'm not reading this. Okay, I'll do it afterwards. I do like local. So what's going on here? Let me see what's going on in the chat. BOF.
So basically, you're never going to read that again.
No, I'm going to ask, you need to get an AI summary of that in one paragraph. No, I'll read it. But I mean, because the thing is, it's got to be written for people with short attention spans. Fine. Okay, hold on. I'll bring it back. I just caught one word that I'm going to look into. Dank Knight, MMA. Carney thinks the guy... Okay, here. Mark Carney's conflicts of interest. Mark Carney goes from wasting taxpayer money on a useless European trade delegation, where, by the way, not a single leader wanted to stand next to him. And if you thought Justin Trudeau's WE charity was a scandal, okay. Carney standing on a podium trying to look serious gets hit with a question from the Globe and Mail. Pretty simple one. What financial assets did you place in your blind trust? Interesting. Because here's the thing. Carney has already admitted that he put his assets into a blind trust, but he knew exactly what they were before doing it. So Canadians deserve to know what industries he's secretly benefiting from. Well, I can tell you it's overseas and dirty polluters. His response, dodged the question completely. Instead of answering, launched into an attack on Pierre Poilievre. Why? Okay, Mark, that's really convincing. Journalists ask you if you have personal financial conflict of interest, and your response is, well, Pierre is dumb. Okay. But it gets even better. The press didn't drop it. Press gallery, clearly seeing Carney trying to wiggle out of accountability, presses him again. The rules say that your assets have to be publicly disclosed within 120 days, which means Canadians won't know about your conflicts of interest until after the next election. We'll see if they even call it. Don't we deserve to know before then? What does Carney do? He tells Canadians what financial stakes he has in industries. No. Deflects again, gaslighting the journalists for even looking. Look inside yourself, Rosemary, he sneers. Look inside yourself, Rosemary. This is the Rosemary Barton stuff. Are you kidding me? That's the response. Here are my assets, or I have nothing to hide, but look inside yourself. What's this, a therapy session? Carney, a prime minister of self-help guru. Okay, let's keep going back down. Carney is on Trump's terrace. We'll see what happens. Okay, fine. All right. Final thoughts. Okay, well, this is where we should have gotten to. No, even the conclusion is too long. Let's be honest, he won't. Okay, fine. Canada deserves better. It's time for an election. That's going to be the question, is if he calls the election or not. We'll see about that. Okay, now back over to Viva Barnes Law. Locals, I'm here. Concerning the rogue, this is from BOF 7431. Concerning this rogue judge shit, a reference was mentioned on the Vince show, Bongino's replacement. Emphasis is after the comma in main paragraph. If this is correct, then these rogue judges, these rogue types, have no ground to stand on, as well as Roberts would not be bothered, as he could go back to DC party circuit. One other thing, this is indeed usable. Why has the Trump legal eagles not used this yet? In the landmark 1948 case, Luedecke versus Watkins, Luedecke, the court established critical precedents. I can bring this up so everybody can read this with me. Share here. Precedents regarding the Alien Enemy Act. Scope. The ruling underscored by the non-justiciable nature of removals, meaning these actions cannot be challenged. Bottom line, it's not in these judges' lane. I'm surprised that Trump's legal teams haven't picked it up yet. There was something I wanted to read there. But Roberts, what did Roberts do? Encryptus, do you know what Roberts did today that people are saying he stabbed Trump in the back? Okay, that's all we got there. Let's go over here. We'll go to
about it.
Yeah, I didn't hear the news. I'll have to maybe see if in the chat, in the comments, put it up in there. Oh, there's a cute little girl in there. Just our beautiful granddaughter day. Pro-Trump news: Doge fines over 12 million aged 120 and older. Yeah, which undermines the explanation that it was a default entry. I guess maybe if it was a default entry based on no, because then it would be they would. Okay. Carnage will take as many luxury vacays as on the backs of Canadians for as long as he can. His ass must get booted ASAP. When's the election? Says in the Belfry. Roostain says unstructured in locals in an hour. Hunley and Grobert give Encryptus a big thank you for the drop in the JFK files. Okay, Encryptus, it's our exclusive locals community. Do you know what the released files say thus far?
No, there is. I don't have the actual files yet. They're supposed to drop them. As soon as they're ready, I will run my tool that I've actually already built to scrape all of them out of the site, and we'll see what's in them.
Okay, very cool. And they are releasing the documents today. At least that's the latest news.
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
Okay, let me just see if I got this good here. Yes. Okay. Okay. Now, what else was I said here? Oh yeah, I'm going to go back to the chat. Yeah, I'm curious to know.
So, by the way, to answer what you were talking about with Justice Roberts in Trump. So basically, Trump had asked, talking about impeaching judges, and he kind of pushed back on that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, okay, but it's not. It's interesting. Why would Roberts' opinion on impeaching judges even matter? It's not up to the judges to do it. Okay, I'm gonna get that. I want to get that clip anyhow. But let me see. Are there still 26,000 people in the chat? No. Okay, good. The stream has ended, so they're going to go over to. And now let's see over on Candace. She's up to 16,000 now. It's amazing. The system works. Let me go live and make sure that. Oh no, it still says starting soon. Okay, well they'll get the hang of timing these things next week. All right, here. Good grief! Hungary bans LGBTQ plus pride events in public since children might be presented. 136 opponents set off smoke bombs. Let's see this. Shut up. Imagine it's controversial to say that you can't. What were they? You can't have children. Oh, they ban them in public. Okay. Let's see here. End wokeness. I think this is it.
A Törvényalkotási Bizottság összegző módosító javaslatát T/11.201
Pretty epic. It's a pretty epic image right here.
Összegző jelentését pedig T/11.201/5-ös számon terjesztette elő. Most az összegző módosító javaslatról döntünk.
Smells pretty sulfuric also, by
tisztelt országgyűlést elfogadja a Törvényalkotási Bizottság T/11.201/4-es számú összegző módosító javaslat. A Törvényalkotási Bizottság.
Hold on, I got to see. Why are the gender ideologists so insistent on displaying their sexuality in front of children? Why are they not arresting those people immediately? Like that smoke is a noxious, toxic gas that smells very sulfuric and is not good for the eyes or the skin. SCUS Cooper versus Aaron. No state legislator or executive judicial officer can war against the Constitution without violating his undertaking to support it and their oath. Now, let me just make sure that I can confirm this. Yeah, so no, I won't confirm it. It's confirmed, but I don't want to get ahead of anybody else. So there's going to be a good interview. I'm going to pre-record it in Encryptus. We're going to talk about it, and I'm going to publish it later this week or early next week. It's going to be fantastic. Okay, what else do we got here? Scrolling up. That's very cute. Here we go. The guards did look very, very intimidating who were displacing those alleged gang members. Ken 1979 says, Viva, I think we should do more than impeach the judge. We need to punish his ass, whether convicted or not. Let's make punishment district in Burrow, Alaska. No people. Yeah, make him do circuits. No, the impeachment will be great. Impeachment is not going to happen, but at least the threat of impeachment is already great. What up, locals? Viva, what is the link that starts the new lineup starting with Evita? What is the link that starts the new lineup starting with Evita and will continue onto your show? I don't know that there's any individual link. So it's the link to each person's channel, and then the channel ending the stream, raids into the next person's link. So it's just their live stream on their channel. So just got to make sure to subscribe to them when you get there. Drearier Spider says, Viva, did you see another corrupt Obama judge ordered USAIDs reopened? Roberts emboldened the worst judges. I know that guy's face. Hold on. What's his name again? I do not know that guy's face. Breaking, a judge just ordered Elon Musk's Doge to all but fully reinstate USAID after they dismantled it. That's right. A judge is now single-handedly running the executive branch. This has to stop. Judge Huang was appointed by Obama. Judge's order from Politico. Let's see if we can read this here. For the foregoing reasons, the court finds that the action is taken to shut down USAID on an accelerated basis, including its apparent decision to permanently close the headquarters without the approval of the duly appointed USAID officer, likely violated the United States Constitution in multiple ways. Let's go read that decision and see if any of the ways are elucidated or enumerated within that decision. All right, and then we're going to go back down here, refresh. Okay, so we got some more comments here. Closing time is the music being played showing these illegal... Closing time. It's time for a few midnight raids on... No. Viva, Slavs love flares and cannon fire. Smoke is rather meh to them. Okay, we're right on the bottom. We're going to go all the way down here. This is Boasberg's sister, Tavistock. Much? You think? I would have not thought any of that, but now that you mention it, that's what you call preceding. SCOTUS Justice, I am the law, Roberts, doesn't think impeachment is a good idea, which means it's an excellent idea. That's from Mofolo. Oh, so then Chris says, okay, Viva, following his last statement, Justice Roberts' TDS is publicly displayed. Impeachment may not be the Roberts' preferred way of handling rogue judges, but it is the Constitution-prescribed method. Roberts certainly plans to support these politically activist judges by doing nothing, leaving us with very little choice but impeachment. John Roberts is to blame for not stopping the outrageous behavior. As this nonsense continues, the judiciary is losing the American people's faith in it. It's time to impeach these bad judges. Supreme Court's failure to address the issue of rogue judges is enabling malfeasance. Although we may not secure a 2/3 vote in the Senate to convict them, there will be hearings and discoveries related to those hearings, exposing them as political activists they truly are. Then the House can defund and remove them from DC and SDNY. This must be done ASAP, perhaps motivating the Supreme Court to fulfill its responsibilities. Neurodivergent says they did have some glitching with the rating. Crowder's raid to the quartering didn't show up for me. Okay, well, I'm sure they're aware of it, but I'll let everybody know. Here's the USAID at full order. How long is it? Oh, shit. This is how they do it. 68 pages. Encryptus. We might need a summary of this. Since it was established, yada, yada, yada. Oh, gosh. Is this Judge Huang's order? How do I get to the bottom of this? Literally. Oh, there. No, that's... Oh, well, I guess...
Tools for that.
This is the tool. Here we go. Now let's go down here. Preliminary injunction is granted in part and denied in part. The motion will be granted the court issue. Oh, God. All right. Well, it's amazing. It's an absolute battle for control of the country, and it's being waged by people who do not have that power and should not have that control. They were supposed to drop today, says the... I think that's in respect of the JFK files. Yeah. I have zero respect for any of these judges. They aren't... Well, they're people. They're just stupid people. That's Joseph Boasberg's sister? Hold on. I got to look this up now. Oh, you're not seeing what I'm seeing. Is it not sharing anymore? No, it's not sharing anymore. Hold on. I'm going to keep that open, and go here. Is Judge Boasberg's sister a transgender? I have to ask the question in a way that Grok will answer. See what it says? There is no publicly available information that the judge has a transgender sister. Judge Boasberg, sister Sarah Margaret and Emmanuel Boasberg. Okay, so let's see. Well, okay, so his sister. No, that's his mother. Judge Boasberg, the Chief Justice, was born to Sarah and Emmanuel Boasberg III. Yada, 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 yada. There's no mention of credible sources of a sister, transgender or otherwise. Well, that's interesting. I'm going to refresh, and then I'll be able to share the screen again. Okay, and accept. I don't know what this is. All right, I'm back. Now, let's go back to sharing in our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community. To whom it may concern, I have information. Okay, that's the old school meme. We all get the jokes. Viva, I don't care, convicted or not, I don't care. Let every Obama... Okay, again. All right. Brandon Gill is Dinesh D'Souza's son-in-law. Really? So Dinesh's son-in-law means... Oh, hold on 1 second. Chest pain. And in the rib cage, not in the chest. That means that Brandon is married to Dinesh's daughter. Okay. He's a smart guy. I know I remember another clip. I don't remember what it was right now, but I remember thinking he's a smart guy. Evidently, they do have that power. It's happening, says Boopsy. Ken, I'm not going to read that. Let me just go to here. Okay, throw in some dog pictures, people. And there was some more on the right that I was going to get to. Do you know about Boasberg and Chief Justice Roberts from The Last Refuge? But Roberts will protect Boasberg because Boasberg, who Roberts appointed to be the presiding judge of the Fisc, has a major leverage over Roberts. Boasberg has assembled his shields over years, and CTH has outlined every step. I don't know what that means. The brutally obvious began surfacing when Boasberg appointed Mary McCord as amicus to the Fisc. Strong probability McCord is an active CIA. McCord's husband, Sheldon Snook, was the key staff of Roberts and almost certainly the leaker of the Dobbs decision. Interesting. Chief Justice Roberts had to hide that reality, which he did after the U.S. Marshal investigation, because it puts the leak inside his office. Boasberg knows this and other stuff, and Roberts reacts to eyes on Boasberg from a defensive posture. Very interesting. The Last Refuge. Do I follow this person? I'm selective with who I follow on Twitter. Do they follow me? They do not follow me, and I do not follow them. But I like his... Ooh, yeah. Hold on. I like this. It's smiling. My goodness. Look at the hackles on the back of that too. And showing a bit of the... Yeah, I'm a good dog reader. I'm getting good at reading alligators too. Now when I go biking, I know when the alligators are in an aggressive posture or not. And the answer, they're never in an aggressive posture. Yesterday, when I saw 4 fatties just like chilling in the sun, one of them had his mouth wide open. Saw the pink of the inside of its mouth. And that's it. Viva Brand. Okay, so we got that. Let's go down here and just read a few more. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's go back and just end with some fun stuff of dogs and fish. Okay. That is a walleye. That's a beautiful walleye. Although I'd be a little concerned about the spots on its tail there. Oh, that might just be the dirt because it looks like there's dirt on the hand. That's a good looking walleye. Who's that from? Sally O'Malley says, I don't have a doggo today, but I do have a record walleye. My favorite angler caught 4 pounds? Damn good. Roostang Viva, the Gator Whisperer. Now look at this beautiful doggy. That looks like a, let me see if I'm getting close here. That's a Shepherd Boxer mix. And what else do we... Oh, look at this one. That's a Boxer Chihuahua mix. Look at this. Putting his foot forward. Politely asking for dinner. Dude, what do leftists... Okay. Yeah, his daughter works for the Epoch Times. Barnes is an expert in dissecting these lengthy judicial documents. He's an expert in summarizing them. So that you don't actually have to read them. But I'm going to go through them and look for some particularly juicy, embarrassing sections that I can clip and snip and put on social media and embarrass the judge for being a political hack. Jump to recent messages. And okay, so hold on. 4:53. Okay, so Hunley and Grobert, Encryptus, they're going live at 5:00, right? Have we lost Encryptus?
Nope. Yep, that is correct.
Okay, good. So that'll be a good end time for us. And I'll go see. Speaking of alligator whispering, it's Tuesday. It's my whole schedule's messed up now just because of the change. It's like change in time zones. It's 5:00. I've already exercised. I haven't done push-ups or weights. I should probably do that. Although I want to go biking and see some gators. See if the child will get on the electric bike. Oh, they're going live at 5:30, Viva. So we'll see what I'm doing there. Let's go and get some more. The Bill of Rights applies to people under the jurisdiction of the U.S. in any way. Permanent imprisonment is unconstitutional, whatever the suspicions are. I don't disagree. just speculating on the why question. I think that's in reference to 5:30, not 5. Okay. Is this your new permanent time? The new permanent time is going to be 4 o'clock as of next week. 4 o'clock as of next week when they get the full time, not timeline, lineup down. We need a link to follow these all-day Rumble streams. Yeah, they've got to figure out a way to... the issue is that it's always on the individual's channel because they want the traffic going to the channel. Is there a way that they can set up like... I'll ask Chris. I don't know if there's a way to do that. But yeah, it's got to be easier than having to know who the last one was. Like if they had whoever's live under the raid featured on the Rumble landing page, that would be the way to do it, I think. Are they doing that now?
How about just a page? Just a page with everybody in a lineup in their time.
Page with everybody in the lineup is then when you get to Rumble. Let me see if you go to Rumble and you land on the page. It's like picks. Would it be picks? Yeah, it might already be there in picks, but it might not be clear enough. Okay, I'll mention it to them because it's a good point. You want to be able to find it easily and quickly. Without having any excess or additional need to click. Maybe they could drop a link in the chat. Scheduling will take some getting used to and rearranging, says Neurodivergent. Yeah, especially I kind of like it better, but then the problem is I feel like I spend the entire day indoors preparing for a show, whereas if it's 12:30, I'm forced to cram before, and then I can get out. But there's still a lot of sun left, so. I got pulled out for a bit by a friend's wife who babbled for much too long. Very nice, but flittery things. Who lives in her own separate universe. And then we got this. Who's this supposed to be? AOC? How am I ever going to be president with these losers? Oh, this is supposed to be Kamala. Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. That would work. I got that there. Call it the Daily Lineup TV Guide hyphen. I don't know if anybody's even old enough to remember that. The biggest story this week is the suppression of the story about the suppression of a story. Of course, that story is also suppressed. Stay tuned. We'll have less on this story later. Yeah. It's Rachel Zegler, the race-swapped Snow White. Oh, okay. Wait, no, but didn't it say how am I supposed to be president? How am I ever going to be president with these losers around? No, that's supposed to be Kamala Harris, and that's supposed to be, I think Hunter Biden is in there somewhere. All right, people. I think we've done good. What was that? Other comments directed your way above. Well, I've already gotten distracted. Did Hunter use the autopen to sign his own pardon? That's from Rusing. Did Viva go over Jeremy Boring leaving the Daily Wire? No, because I don't know anything about the story yet. Is Candace live? Okay, she's there. She's live. So Candace is live, and she's at 20 some odd thousand now. So, guys, I'll give you the link to this, and go watch it, and then you'll know the answers to the questions. Here. I'm listening to her as we talk, so it's a little distracting, but okay. I'm going to put on pause. Okay, so go watch it on Candace. She's talking about it right now. I will see you all tomorrow, and I will probably put out something short this evening, depending on how much energy I have left. And I hope you enjoyed the show, people. This was good. Bada bing, bada boom, locals. Go forth and prosper. What is that? Bees are out and thirsty, says Lefson. Hold on, I want to see that. You just caught my attention. Those are honeybees, and that's beautiful. So you put a piece of moss. You put a piece of moss on water, and the bees come. That's really cool. Huh, okay. I want to go see a gator. I want to see a gator eating a snake, or a snake eating a gator, or a gator eating a deer, or a deer eating a gator, or maybe a boar eating a gator, or a gator I want to see something eating something this afternoon, and I'm going to try to catch that freaking hawk with the fish in its claws because I want to see that happen. So, locals, thank you all for being here. Great show. Thank you, says Lori Bell. My honeybees, says Lesson. Amazing. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Says Neurodivergent. Go. I've got a pee-pee, and I might think about having another energy drink. 5 o'clock? That might be reckless. Okay, go and enjoy the day. Peace out, everyone. Thank you for being here. Godspeed. God bless, and see you tomorrow.